hate to say it, guys, but today gamers are taking a massive L. Switch emulator Yuzu is dead. Irreparably settles lawsuit with Nintendo for $2.4 million. Those of you PC elitists with emulators know that Yuzu was pretty much the go-to source for Nintendo Switch emulation. Now, last week, Nintendo filed a lawsuit against Switch emulator Yuzu, blaming the emulator for mass piracy of 2023's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, declaring there is no lawful way to use Yuzu to play Nintendo Switch games. The developer of Yuzu hired a lawyer, seemingly setting this suit up for the first legal showdown over emulation in more than 20 years. But today, Yuzu and Nintendo filed a surprise joint motion to settle the suit. As a result of the settlement, development of Yuzu will be shut down and cease distribution. It's a dramatic turn for a case that didn't seem completely certain to go in Nintendo's favor. Sony's early 2000s lawsuits against emulators from Concentrix and Bleem both went in favor of the emulator developers. But advances in technology since then leave a big question mark about how a court would rule on circumventing the Switch's encryption, something that is broadly forbidden by the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Nintendo pointedly claimed that Yuzu is primarily designed to circumvent technological measures, a very specific bit of language that indicates the emulator runs afoul of the DCMA. It's possible a judge would rule that the circumvention isn't the primary purpose of the emulator, just a necessary act of reverse engineering to, play video games. A judgment like that would be a huge win for the legality of emulation in modern systems, while a judgment that went in Nintendo's way would threaten many other emulators. A loss could have been extremely expensive for the Yuzu developers, and even a win may have resulted in years of legal fees as the case made its way through trial and the appeal process. Apparently, the emulator developers decided a quick settlement was a safer choice. RIP, man. Today's joint motion states that the defendant and its members acknowledge and agree that the award of monetary relief here bears a reasonable relationship to the range of damages and attorney fees and full costs that the parties could have anticipated would be awarded at and a following of trial of this action. As part of the settlement, the Yuzu developers waive any right to appeal the judgment and are bound by the permanent injunction that essentially marks the death of the emulator, at least in its current form. The permanent injunction prevents the developers from offering to the public, providing marketing, advertising, promoting, selling, testing, hosting, cloning, distributing, or otherwise trafficking in Yuzu or any source code or features of Yuzu, affecting assignments or transfers, forming new entities or associations, or using any other device for the purpose of circumventing or otherwise avoiding the prohibition set forth above. The injunction also requires the defendant cease to use the domain yuzu-emu.org and transfer it to Nintendo's control, and to carry out the destruction by deletion of all circumvention devices, including all copies of Yuzu and all circumvention tools used for developing or using Yuzu to the extent they can. Effectively, Yuzu is about to be wiped from the internet, at least officially. And as an update, in a post from the Yuzu Discord, lead developer Bune announced that Yuzu and Yuzu support of Citra are being discontinued effective immediately. The statement continues with language that gives off strong. We have to say this as a part of the legal settlement energy. I assume. We see now that because our projects can circumvent Nintendo's technological protection measures and allow users to play games outside of the authorized hardware, they have led to extensive piracy. In particular, we have been deeply disappointed when users have used our software to leak game content prior to its release and ruin the experience for legitimate purchasers and fans. We have come to the decision that we cannot continue to allow this to occur. Piracy was never our intention, and we believe that piracy of video games and on video game consoles should end. Effective today, we will be pulling our code repositories offline, discontinuing our Patreon accounts and Discord servers, and soon shutting down our websites. We hope our actions will be a small step towards ending the piracy of all creators' works. Of course, any piece of software as widely used as Yuzu won't be easy to stamp out of existence. I sure hope, because I didn't even get to use the dang thing. The source code has been removed from GitHub, but archives have already been made and shared among the emulation community. It's possible other developers not associated with the project will carry on Yuzu's work under a new name, but it seems likely the $2.4 million settlement will have a chilling effect on any future development that's likely to draw Nintendo's ire. This is a serious thing. The question now is whether Nintendo's decisive win here will lead to lawsuits against other emulators, including Yuzu's competitor, Ryujinx. That's a cool name. Because Nintendo and Yuzu settled before going to trial, the decision has no legal repercussions for how future court cases would rule on emulation and whether it violates the DCMA. But the settlement may set the motion of a series of suits against other emulators that can't bear the cost of a drawn-out legal fight with a billion-dollar company. Now, allow me to give my take on this. I like this Yuzu stuff. I love it because at the end of the day, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have gotten that Super Saiyan 3 Legend of Zelda Link on the Tears of the Kingdom when it first came out. We wouldn't have seen all that cool Dragon Ball stuff. We wouldn't have seen Link perform a Kamehameha. I know you all know about that, and I guess that's the main game that they're talking about anyway. So at the end of the day, it's honestly freaking awesome. And I want to also add the fact that they're talking about lost sales, but I'm just going to put this right here. Breath of the Wild sold 31 million copies as of literally December the 31st, 2023. They have sold a crazy amount. That is the best-selling Zelda game of all time, and piracy is still out there. And guess what? Tears of the Kingdom has sold over 20 million copies in less than one entire year. So what are they talking about lost sales? What are they talking about? The funny thing is, the PC gamers who use Yuzu probably honestly own a Switch as well. And they buy the games as well. It's a very high likelihood that that is exactly what the truth is. And the fact that they're talking about lost sales when they made some of the most sales that a Zelda game has ever produced, ever. And like I said, Tears of the Kingdom, not even a whole year has passed, bro. Not even a whole year. We ain't even there yet. And you already got 20 mil. You're pretty good. Let me let you know that Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. And it sold 31 million as of December 31st, 2023, last year. And this other game hasn't even been out for a year, and it already sold 20 mil, over half. So we're doing pretty good with projections. So why are you coming for Yuzu? That's my question. You need to get a life, guys. Get a life. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe.